Salaries for banking and financial services lawyers are quite high as opposed to other sectors, with 90% of those lawyers receiving a bonus as part of their remuneration package. Does this make the banking and financial services sector one of the most attractive for in-house lawyers?
Traditionally, absolutely. Bonuses have been always highest for lawyers in this sector in comparison to other in-house roles in other sectors. Base salaries have continually increased even since GFC, and in fact in some instances they have outstripped some of their other sector peer group, because the banks didn't want to pay overly in bonuses because it's the counter risk culture that they wanted to move away from, particularly in control functions like legal and compliance. But still, lawyers who work in the banks and financial service organisations do put a pretty heavy weighting on their bonus, and we always encourage lawyers who work in the sector to look at their total compensation as a total compensation package. It's not just about the basic salaries.
Survey respondents have said that the attraction of moving into a commerce and industry role, which includes the energy and resources, telecommunications, media and consumer goods sectors, is the attraction of high quality work and flexible working conditions. Do such perceptions match the reality?
Most lawyers who want to move out of private practice into an in-house role on the whole look to achieve certain things. I think they, first of all, they probably don't want to be partners in law firms, so they vote with their feet in that regard. I think they look for a role which provides much closer proximity to their clients, so their internal clients are literally next door or working alongside them. And for that reason, they are typically involved both more commercially in decision making and risk management, but they're also there from start to finish if there's a transaction or a project or any big strategic piece of work where legal and risk is required for input. Flexibility and work-life balance, yeah, sure, a lot of the in-house roles will provide that. It's a different type of pressure, I think, that the in-house lawyers have on a daily basis. It's pretty intense. There's not much time that they will get to sort of down tools, but I think there is a general acceptance that there is far more control over your working day.
The survey says that law firms play by their own rules, and that traditional thinking that a lawyer's remuneration is determined by the profile and size of their firm is no longer correct. Does this mean that lawyers at boutique or mid-tier firms can expect to have the same salaries as colleagues at national or global firms?
It does. I mean, look, we're truly in a very sort of confused market, I think, for lawyers in private practice from a remuneration perspective. The days where the top 6 firms, give or take, 5% variance, knew what the lawyers at all the levels will be paid have long gone, and that's been caused by the dysfunctional market we've had since GFC days, quite frankly. And law firms that froze pay reviews for a couple of years might now be out of step with those law firms that maybe lifted those freezes 12 months earlier. Added to that, we have obviously the rise of the international law firms, the new entrants to the market, and also the boutique and the medium-sized law firms that have taken advantage of this market dislocation and recruited some pretty heavy-hitting partners from those bigger firms. Means that they've been beefing their teams up and have had to pay salaries that are more equivalent to what you'd expect in the top tier. And right now, we're seeing the same candidate being offered multiple roles, and the difference can be $20,000 to $25,000. I mean, it's quite staggering, the different price point that each firm will put on the same candidate.